This is my new best friend right here. My new best friend. Hello. Rusty Rocket.
Russell Brand is facing 4 unique charges, and the most serious of them is rape. That has a penalty of up to life in prison. But sexual assault, for example, is also a serious charge where the maximum is up to 10 years in prison.
I was a fool, man. I was a fool before I lived in the light of the Lord. I was a drug addict, a sex addict, and an imbecile. But what I never was a rapist.
It looks like Russell Brand's time as a pseudo-intellectual cult leader is finally over, because as you just saw, he was recently charged in court on 4 separate, very serious offenses, all of which have to do with him allegedly violating multiple women back in the mid-2000s. But since the trial won't happen until the beginning of May now, Russell Brand, in the meantime, is frantically trying to save his reputation on his podcast, spewing to his alt-right audience the same BS that most right-wing grifters do when they're charged with serious sexual offenses.
The allegations, just so you know, the charges, in fact, relate to events between 1999 and 2004. You probably won't even have heard of me until, I don't know, 2005, 2006. Remember when I was talking openly about the coronavirus and the corruption during the coronavirus era and how the media lied to us and shamed us and tried to control us, how companies like Pfizer and Moderna made record profits, how the UK inquiry into COVID was tepid. It's interesting to me that once I was on the radar of the deep state and many of their affiliates within media, because the media and the government are not separate entities.
I mean, this guy might be the biggest bullshitter known to man, and it's pretty obvious that he's in a huge state of panic right now, because his words are just all over the place. Like, he even admits that he probably did some terrible things back in his heyday, because before he made his switch to Christianity, he lived a very hedonistic lifestyle. You know, back when him and Diddy were getting cozy together on the private jets.
And I'm going to address as best I can the charges of sexual assault and rape in the UK that have been made against me. What I feel when looking at it with my heart as open as I can manage is that knowing that there are people that to whatever degree and for whatever reason willing to participate in a venture of this nature means that I recognise that I must have in some ways caused harm. In those giddy and hedonistic days, those ludicrous dark days, those days where I was part of a culture that then seemed to warmly applaud and celebrate Epicureanism, the relentless pursuit of pleasure, a kind of casual godlessness, the kind of godlessness that leads to the erection, forgive the word, of false gods everywhere. When I was in that world, I must have been captured by a kind of darkness. I couldn't have been more clear that I was out there having sex with anybody who wanted to. And let me tell you, when you're a famous guy, people are up for it. People are up for it. I got to be honest with you, that was part of the reason I even bothered becoming famous in the first place, because I thought this will be a glorious opportunity for hedonistic adventure. Surely then my life will mean something. Surely I can find some value in the comfort of strangers. Surely I can lose myself in endless pleasure.
I mean, the guy's a genius at sounding deep without saying a single thing that actually makes sense. He's basically a smart guy for people who don't read. And even if the charges against him turn out to be false, we all still know he's a slimeball womanizer. Like, just look at any interview of him around the time these charges were to take place.
Caprice, are you wearing one of your own bras? I mean, I know it's your bra, just sure you didn't nick it from a public lavvy. But I mean, are you wearing a bra designed by you now?
No, but I'm wearing my knickers.
Get them off.
Okay.
There won't be a point where I go, oh, don't. There'll be a point where I go, go on then. Come on! Everyone does it. Don't be afraid of your own sexuality. Do be a bit afraid of mine, though.
It's like you're a man slut. You're a
Hold on a minute.
That's
pejorative.
There's an award named after you.
There is actually.
Serial Shagger. The Russell Brand Serial Shagger Award.
Yes, that is actually true, but that's on the basis of an incident that happened in a supermarket aisle with me and some Frosties.
So yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I'm gonna go ahead and say that this isn't just the deep state trying to take him down because he's a martyr of free speech. I mean, he completely fell off the map when he shifted into the right-wing pipeline grift. No one really even thinks about him now. And yet, he acts like he's some kind of whistleblower who's on the run from the government. All he really is a master manipulator. Like the day he was officially charged by the prosecutors, he released a pretty creepy and manipulative video on his Instagram denying all of the accusations, and it's pretty clear that he's mastered his manipulation tactics.
Firstly, thank you for these incredible and overwhelming messages of support. We're very fortunate in a way to live in a time where there's so little trust in the British government. We're very fortunate, I suppose, that this is happening at a time where we know that the law has become a kind of weapon to be used against people, institutions, and sometimes entire nations that will not accept and tolerate levels of corruption that are unprecedented. I'm speaking particularly to those of you that are watching this in the UK. How do you feel about your legal system right now? How do you feel about some of the high-profile cases that are not being pursued and prosecuted? How do you feel that the Southport murders were handled? How do you feel about the government of Keir Starmer? Now, that's just sort of general context. Me, I've always told you guys that when I was young and single, before I had my wife and family, we're just out of shot over there, my beautiful children, I was a fool, man. I was a fool before I lived in the light of the Lord.
So yeah, I don't know if it's a coincidence or not that he decided to turn to God after he was initially interviewed by police, but he's basically tried to reinvent himself. He's moved from wild celebrity to spiritual guru to political commentator now. But all of his charges aren't about political views. I mean, this isn't about censorship or cancel culture either. When multiple people accuse you of something and an entire legal process moves forward, the appropriate response isn't to launch a tour about how misunderstood you are. But I guess we'll just have to see what happens in May. For now, Russell Brand is doing everything except addressing the case in a straightforward way, and that tells us a lot, whether he realizes it or not.
A guy's night, 48 hours.
Puffy, with like
in Russell.
with a normal day between like a man and a woman, or perhaps two gay men or lesbian women, the best possible result of that day is sex. Now, with our heterosexual day, what is the best thing that can happen between us?
We can find some women to have sex.
That is a conclusion.
That's a conclusion. For 48 hours in Vegas, you're seeing us at the beginning of the 48 hours. As you know, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but we really we plan on going to the hospital.
Are you going to chronicle the whole thing?
Yeah. We're going to chronicle the whole thing,
It's going to be chronicled.
Yeah.
Remember, I'm a recovering drug addict.
Yeah, he's a recovering drug addict.
I can't take drugs or anything, like, or even drink. I can't drink booze.
Yeah, he won't. I don't know what's going to happen in Vegas, to be honest.